This is the Cholo News Report for Saturday 23 June 2018. The United Nations Human Rights Council issues a condemnation of the separation of migrant children from their parents, stating that it may amount to torture, and that the recent executive order does not address the situation of those children who have already been pulled away from their parents. A number of rights groups have questioned Mr. Trump's order, issued on Wednesday, mostly for offering few details on how to deal with the more than 2,300 children detained by the United States government since the zero-tolerance policy was enacted by the President's administration in mid-April. High school student Kathia Suarez holds up a sign as she protests with others outside the Grayson County Courthouse in downtown Sherman, Texas, Thursday, February 16, 2017. Malta refuses to accept 234 African immigrants from the ship Lifeline that left the Gibraltar flagship stranded at sea 4 days with more than 600 migrants on board until Spain offered them safe haven. German Chancellor Angela Merkel played down expectations of a breakthrough at a hostilely arranged talks among EU leaders on Sunday on the migration dispute dividing Europe and threatening her own government. The Pentagon announces the suspension of joint military exercises with South Korea, including the Ultra Freedom Guardian and Marine training exercises. The statement left the door open to further suspensions of joint exercises, as talks with Pyongyang progress and as speculation grows that U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will make his third visit to the North in the coming week. The decision was reached after Mattis, Pompeo, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff General Joe Dunford, and National Security Advisor John Bolton met to discuss efforts to implement the results of the Singapore meeting, the statement added. The move has also alarmed Tokyo, which fears the decision could weaken the regional deterrence effect provided by the U.S. military. The U.S. Supreme Court votes 54 in favor of requiring law enforcement to obtain a search warrant to gather location data from cell phone companies. A report from the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights accuses the Venezuelan government of allowing its security forces to participate in hundreds of extrajudicial killings over the past year. It called on the government to bring perpetrators to justice and said it was sending its report to the International Criminal Court, whose prosecutor opened a preliminary investigation in February. The government of President Nicolas Maduro rejected the report as grotesque media farce, which omits information officials in Caracas provided to investigators. The United States announces that North Korea will destroy the Sohae satellite launching station missile test site